If you're new here, I want to be really clear about what this is and what it isn't. This channel isn't advice. It's not self-help. It's not a system. And it's not a brand I'm trying to grow. This is me thinking out loud on purpose. For most of my life, I did what a lot of people do. I worked hard. I tried to do a good job. I chased outcomes because that's what you're supposed to do. Grades, scores, evaluations, metrics, results. I was a teacher, then an administrator, then a principal. And for a long time, I thought if I just worked harder, planned a bit better, explained a little better, documented better, eventually it would all feel right. It didn't. What finally changed wasn't my job. It was how I decided to live. At some point, I realized something uncomfortable. Most of the goals we're taught to set are outcomes we don't actually control. You can do everything right and still lose. You can care deeply and still disappoint people. You can follow every rule and still feel empty. So I stopped organizing my life around outcomes. Not because I don't care, but because chasing outcomes was making me dishonest with myself and with other people. Instead, I started organizing my life around inputs. How I show up, how I speak, how I treat people, how much trust I'm willing to give, how honest I'm willing to be, even when it costs me something. That decision changed everything. Once I stopped optimizing, I started noticing things. At first, some of them felt almost funny, like how our time has slowly disappeared. I noticed it so much I was even willing to think about doing stand-up comedy about it. It just was so obvious to me that it would be obvious to everyone. Email, group texts, shared calendars. Hey, just looping you in. Hey, quick question. Hey, just circling back. For a while, I thought I might just write these jokes about it, like I said. But honestly, the best jokes usually come from real pain. But the more I noticed it, the less funny it felt. Because no one ever agreed to this. We didn't consent to being reachable all the time. We didn't decide that unfinished thoughts should be interrupted. We didn't vote on living inside constant notification. It just happened. Quietly. And once you point it out, it gets uncomfortable. Because now you're the person saying, hey, this might not be normal. I don't like saying that in rooms full of people. I don't like turning conversations into arguments. I don't like sounding dramatic. So instead, I started writing. And that's where this really began. Before any of these explainers, before any of the noticing videos, before any of this, it started with Maroa stories. Maroa is a town I made up, but it's also very real. It's the place where I grew up. The kind of town where boredom existed, where time stretched, where people just trusted each other without needing proof. Writing Maroa stories reminded me of something I had totally forgotten. What it feels like to have space. Space to think, space to wonder, space to be unfinished without being corrected. If I never had a hometown worth writing about, none of this would exist. Maroa gave me a way back into myself. And once I started writing again, I could not stop. I just couldn't stop. The writing led to noticing. The noticing led to explaining. The explaining led to this channel. And somewhere along the way, I realized I wasn't just talking about schools or parenting or work. I was talking about trust, about time, about agency, about what happens when systems assume people can't be trusted, quietly, structurally, without ever saying it out loud. That's what you'll see. Different kinds of videos here. Sometimes I explain things, credit scores, insurance, systems that confuse people on purpose. Sometimes I tell stories, Maroa, memory, boredom, small moments that shaped us. Sometimes I just say, I noticed something, and just sit with it long enough to understand why it matters to me. All of it is connected. I'm writing a book right now, not because I want to fix anything, and not because I think I have answers, but because I finally feel like I'm doing the best work I'm capable of doing. Not the safest work, not the most impressive work, the most honest work. Part of that book is about why I'm leaving my role as a principal. Not in anger, not in protest, but because once I stopped chasing outcomes, I couldn't keep pretending the system rewarded what actually mattered. So instead of burning anything down, I decided to do something simpler. I decided to trust people, teachers, kids, myself, as much as I ethically and legally can while I'm still here. To give autonomy where it's been missing. To say out loud what people feel but don't have the space to say. To document what happens when someone chooses alignment over survival. This channel exists because of that choice. It's not optimized for views or likes or subscribers. It's not polished. It's not for everyone. But it is real. And one thing I can promise, I will never stop writing these stories. As long as I'm here, even if no one's watching, these stories will keep coming. Because they're not content. They're a thank you to a town. If you're here because you want certainty, quick answers, or motivation hacks, this probably isn't for you. If you're here because something feels off and you're trying to understand why, you're in the right place. I don't know where this goes. I'm not promising outcomes. I'm not building a following on purpose or not building a following or trying in any way. I'm just following the light I can see and writing as honestly as I know how while I do it. If that resonates, stick around. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Either way, this is me, fully. And this is the work I'm here to do.